Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Mr. Controversy back again. So this is part two to the part one. Part one was me covering just the U.S. sending troops over to Israel. Part two is actually covering China surrounding Taiwan with their so-called military exercise. That wasn't no damn exercise. This is my thought from a strategic uh, look from how I would do it, which is how we actually do in the military. I mean, when we go to the field and we, you know, go. It's pretty much you just probing is what it is. What China did was they probed. They sent all their warships. They sent their aircraft. They got the response that they want out of Taiwan to see what they were going to do, see how they move their equipment, see how they move their personnel, see where they putting the people in position because they got fast movers, which is your fixed wings, flying all over Taiwan, flying around it. You got the ships. They're looking to see how they're reacting. That's the first time you do it. You wait a while, you do it again. If they do the same thing, which I guarantee it, they will do the same thing a second time. They will react the same way. They may pick up the pace as far as because I'm sure just like we have a certain amount of time for which equipment and personnel has to be in place. They're at a fixed location. So they're on the defense. But they're being watched. They're watching you to see where you put your equipment, what your HVTs are, where are you putting your HVTs within your country, which is nothing but a high value target. That's all they're doing, which will be air defense systems, which would be the first thing I would take out, which I'm pretty sure that's what they would do because they allow the fast movers to do what they want to do. Take the ADA systems out. You take that out with your naval ships, and then you bring in your fast movers. So this is somewhat of a coincidence that they did this the day after we sent, pretty much either the day of or the day after we sent troops over to Israel to help, pretty much to help Israel fight against Iran. It ain't got nothing to do with Hezbollah. It's to go against Iran. So we're gonna go ahead and jump in this video and see what's going on.
The show of power was launched before dawn. China sending its army, navy, air force, and rocket force to completely surround Taiwan. In a single day, the drills involved a record 125 Chinese military aircraft and 34 naval vessels, including the aircraft carrier Liaoning, according to Taiwan defense officials tracking them. Taiwan scrambled its fighter jets and warships too, and condemned China for what officials called unreasonable provocation.
We also need to stay calm and confident to prevail in the struggle between democracy and authoritarianism.
China made no secret of what was driving the maneuvers. It was a warning, they say, to any Taiwan separatist forces after accusing Taiwan's president, Lai Ching-te, of promoting independence in his National Day address last week. In that speech, Lai said Beijing had no right to represent Taiwan, but also said he would work with China on issues like climate change. The offer of goodwill did not go over well here in Beijing, where Lai is neither liked nor trusted. A spokesperson said, "What I can tell you is that Taiwan independence is incompatible with peace in the Taiwan Strait." Videos of the exercise, which were shared widely on Chinese social media, show the scope and scale of what China deployed, including a blockade on key ports. China's People's Liberation Army has also used more gray zone tactics, like patrols and air incursions, to a point where experts say military activity around the island has become normalized. Lee Shimin is a retired admiral and former head of Taiwan's armed forces.
I don't think the PLA is ready for the full-scale invasion in the next few years. But however, if they want to conduct that kind of very limited military the tactic, they are already able to do it, like the seize any one of outlying islands, or even the conduct the quarantine for the Taiwan. They can do it.
The U.S. said it was seriously concerned about the escalation. China last launched drills in May when Lai was sworn in. This time was framed as the sequel, with the expectation there will be more.
And Janice Mackey-Freyer joins us now from Beijing. So Janice, China and Taiwan, they have a long, complicated history, but this new Taiwanese president seems to be getting under Beijing's skin more than other recent Taiwanese leaders. Why is that?
Beijing has called Lai Ching-te, or William Lai, a troublemaker, a dangerous separatist, because the leadership here believes he leans more toward pursuing Taiwan independence than his predecessor, Tsai Ing-wen. Threats from Beijing have ramped up, along with incursions and patrols, as well as the introduction of new laws that they're using against so-called Taiwan separatist forces. China's President Xi Jinping says the reunification of Taiwan with the mainland is a historical inevitability, and the use of force has not been ruled out. Beijing doesn't see the urgency necessarily with reunification, but they see independence as something that needs to be urgently stopped. So when Lai spoke out last week against annexation and saying Taiwan would uphold its sovereignty, these are ideas that Chinese officials are not going to accept. And then in that speech, when he offered to work with China and Beijing responded with military drills, it's a sign that this is going to be a testy relationship at best. Allison.
Is it fair, Janice, to describe the latest back and forth as an unprecedented tit for tat or escalation, or is this a continuation of what we've seen in the past?
This is a continuation of what we've seen build over the last 8 to 10 years. The party that William Lai represents was elected to an unprecedented third term earlier this year, and there was always a rocky relationship. But it's because he is the leader now that seems to be, as you say, getting under the skin of China's leadership here. And it's why we're likely to see more military drills, more incursions, and a real doubling down on these new laws for Beijing to believe that it's suppressing these separatist forces. Ellison?
Janice Mackey-Freyer, thank you.
Thanks.
So, there you have it. That's the second time they did it. And like I said, first strike, it's kind of, it's basic. It's the same thing we do everybody else. Hit the airways so their fast movers can't take up. You crater up those runways, their jet fighters, they're not getting off the ground. That's their biggest threat to the ships. I mean, granted, they have their own fast movers that can deal with them, but that's one less problem. Crater their runways, take out the air defense systems. The naval ships will be the ones that will take out that will crater their runways. Same thing with the air defense systems. They're going to take it out. Taiwan is also, their citizens also training to fight. And honestly, I'm just going to keep it 100. If I was China, and China wants Taiwan, eventually it's going to happen. If there's a time to do it, this is the damn time to do it right now. You got Russia and Ukraine still going on. You got Hezbollah plus Iran now going at it with Israel. That's 2 wars going on. China attacks Taiwan. What the hell are the U.S. going to do then? We ain't got that many soldiers. We already spread thin. Who we going to send over there? Were they going to call UN, or they going to call our so-called allied forces to help and divvy this up of, okay, do we put soldiers in Taiwan to fight against China, or do we now put soldiers in Ukraine, because Ukraine's they're gonna feel some type of way of, oh, you help Taiwan, but you won't help us. And even if China decides, hey, we really don't want to take you over, we're just going to demolish a lot of your shit and level level the whole bunch of your infrastructure. Guess what Taiwan's going to need? Well, we just sent them not too long ago. That the Marines took to them. Same time we had our hurricanes going on. Aid. They're going to reach out for some more aid, and we're going to send it. Meanwhile, we got, like I said, we got people here in the U.S. homeless, struggling. So my question is, if we ever got into it, all these people that ran their butts over here into the U.S., will they help defend the U.S., or will they run their asses back through the border, go back to Venezuela and back to Mexico and try to go back to China and back to Africa, whatever country they came from there, and go back to Haiti, where all these people beat their asses back through the border to get out the U.S. because they're not going to help? Some things just to think about. But hey, that's all I got for you guys here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like, comment. Tell me what your thoughts are. Where you stand on this whole China and Taiwan thing going on. Do you think that China is actually looking to take over Taiwan, or at least capture some of their islands, and then put some of their own soldiers, set up little posts on said islands that they've captured? But hey, YouTube, that's all I got. This is Mr. Controversy, and I am out of here.